In Unit 2, we looked at polynomials. We added, subtracted, multiplied, and factored. We've factored a lot now, so I think that last part will go a little faster. So just to recap, though, when I am adding or subtracting, all you do is distribute and combine like terms. So in this problem, I only have a 1 in front of my first parentheses and a negative 1 in front of the second. When I multiply the first parentheses by positive 1, nothing changes, so I just copy it down. When I distribute negative 1, it's going to change my signs. And now I can combine like terms. So 6x squared minus 3x squared is 3x squared. 3x plus 5x is 8x. Then I have plus 7 and negative 4x cubed, which I'm going to write at the front so it's in standard form. Then we have two multiplication problems. When we're multiplying, that's when everything starts on the outside of my box. So I have 2x plus 1, 5x squared plus x minus 1. So that gives me 10x cubed, 2x squared, negative 2x, 5x squared, x, and negative 1. So 10x cubed plus 7x squared minus x minus 1. Now I'm going to be really lazy on this next box, and I'm just going to leave those top three terms where they are and do the side ones, which means this is probably way too tiny, but you're used to it. So 6p to the fourth, negative 8p cubed, negative 3p squared, negative 6p cubed, 8p squared, 3p, and then 6p squared minus 8p minus 3. If this was your writing, I would tell you, write neater so you don't make any mistakes. Do as I say and not as I do. Okay, 6p to the fourth, then minus 14p cubed, and then I have 11p squared minus 5p minus 3. Okay, so let's look at some factoring. The first row I gave you are all things with 3 terms. Our default way with 3 terms is to do the X box. But there's only one of these that I have to do X box on. Which one is it? The first one I need to do X box. So that's where we do the box and the X. I can't do a shortcut. So we do first term, first box, last term, last box, and then we multiply the diagonal and get 20x squared. So negative 20, and b goes at the bottom. What two numbers multiply to negative 20 and add to negative 8? Negative 10 and positive 2. And factor it out. What goes into the first row? 2x squared. 2x, sorry. And what times 2x is 4x squared? 2x. What times 2x is negative 10x? Negative 5. What times 2x is 2x? 1. So this factors to 2x plus 1, 2x minus 5. So the next two I can shortcut and just do multiplies to negative 36 and adds to negative 5, which would be negative 4 and positive 9. And I can do this. I'm going to sketch my box so you can see what's happening. When we do first term, first box on this problem, what's the only way I'm going to multiply to that x squared? It has to be an x times an x. So basically it just simplifies the problem a lot. Now, what is the difference between this last problem and what we just did? We have an x to the fourth. So that means when I do my x, what multiplies to negative 14 and adds to 5, 7 and negative 2, I'm going to go ahead and put plus 7 minus 2 it's not going to be an x that's in there. It's going to be x squared. X squared. You need to put a giant star around this problem because this is what on your quarter test I was still seeing issues with. Alright. Also, somehow we've forgotten my beautiful wrap. If I give you x squared minus 9, you're fine. You're like, x plus 3x minus 3. But as soon as I put this number in front of the x squared, you start losing your mind. So, remember, if you've got two terms, perfect square, subtraction in the middle, let's go from there. Put your parentheses, 1th plus, then a subtraction, yes you must. Square root of the first, weaky, square root of the last, weaky. Keep them in order and you're done fast. Don't forget, basically, we can have a coefficient in front of x, and that's totally fine. So the only difference of squares problems aren't just x squareds. There were ones where we have numbers in front. Just don't forget about that. Next, what if I don't have perfect squares? I have perfect cubes. 1, 8, 27, 125, etc., etc. That's when we're going to do SOMAS. So for SOMAS, first we need to rewrite it as what is it that I am cubing. I'm doing x cubed plus 3 cubed. Then you write your binomial, so x plus 3. And to get the rest of it, you're going to do SOMAS on the x plus 3. So what does the S stand for? Square your first term, x squared. O stands for opposite sign, the opposite of pluses. Minus, M means multiply your terms, x times 3 is 3x. AA is always add, and the last S is square your second term, so 9. And this whole thing is my answer. The SOMAS gives me the trinomial, but you have to have the binomial there too. Otherwise, you just kind of rewrote the problem and magically made something disappear. All right. Next, first step is rewrite it as what is it that we are cubing. So I'm doing 2x cubed minus 5 cubed. So there's what I'm putting in my binomial. 2x minus 5. Then do SOMAS with that. Whoa! My cat just jumped in my face. Square your first term, 4x squared. Opposite sign, instead of a minus, it's a plus. Multiply your terms. 2x times 5 is 10x. Don't worry about that negative. You already dealt with it. AA is always add, and S is square your last term. One more factoring type, which is when I have 4 terms. What do we do with 4 terms? We just stick it in the box. But wait, there's more. What do you notice about your terms? They all have a GCF, Miss Vance. What's the GCF? 2. Okay, so let's take out the 2. So when I divide all of those by 2, that's a cubed. Then that's where we're going to do the box. But you want to bring down your 2. Bring down your 2, because are you going to remember the 2 by the time you finish this problem? No. Yes, I will. No, you won't. If you want to, then just prove me wrong. That's awesome. Works for me. Alright, first term, first box. Last term, last box. The other 2 don't really matter where we're putting them. Alright, so how I wrote it, my GCF of my first row is just x squared. What times x squared is 2x cubed? 2x. What times x squared is negative 5x squared? Negative 5. And what times 2x is negative 6x? Negative 3. So x squared minus 3 times 2x minus